What's going on, Saviors? GH here. In this video, we're gonna be exploring another build which consists of Shinobi, Sheriff, and Corsair. And as always, we're gonna show each classes, what they do, and the good and the bad, and some closing remarks to finish up the video. So grab your drinks and whatever, and let's do this. Okay, here's the build. We got the Shinobi, Sheriff, and Corsair. We're gonna start with Corsair. Now, Corsair is the go-to class if you want increased damage overall. It's also the centerpiece of the Flagboy build, which is an excellent build for new players. And the reason it's here is because of the damage increase, mainly for Brutality. Now, Brutality is a skill that increases your overall damage by 40% at level 10. And if you're looking to increase the level of Brutality, you could use a Moripongya Revolver that adds +2 levels to all Corsair skills. And at level 12, Brutality, the damage increase is 48%. So that's quite an increase. So just switch weapons when using Brutality, then switch back. That's mostly why you need Corsair in this build. But of course, there's more abilities in this class, like Jolly Roger. This is the flag that increases the combat capabilities of your teammates. Then we got Quick and Dead and Hex and Dropper. Both are very good filler skills. And that's Corsair, the go-to class for damage increase. And now let's head on to Sheriff. Now, Sheriff is a pistol wielder class specializing on precise range combat. And the reason this class is here is because of the arsenal of skills that Sheriff will add to this build. And those skills are, first off, West Raid. It's a buff that gives you a number of 100% accurate hit, and there's an art for this that changes how it works. And instead of giving you 100% accuracy, this will instead increase your critical hit by 100% and continually decreases until 30% crit hit. Then it will stop. It's a pretty good buff, keep it at all times, and if you have 3000 crit rate, using this will give you about 6000 crit rate at the earliest. Next skill is Redemption. This is your evasion buff. Pretty much most enemy hits will miss if you have this, even at level 1. Then the upcoming skills are the offensive abilities. Let's start with Peacemaker. This is totally the opposite of what the name suggests, because this skill deals damage, silences enemies, and also inflicts fatigue debuff for 7.5 seconds at max level. Now, this fatigue debuff is the debuff that increases the damage of all Sheriff skills. So it's an important skill to always start out with. Next skill is Fanning. This is a pistol attack that you hold up to make it keep attacking. And it deals about 1200% times 26 skill factor at level 15 for 3 seconds, if you maxed out the normal attribute. And there's a Skiaclips pistol that can add an additional 1 second to this skill, which also adds about 8 hits. And that's a lot. If you add it all up, 1200% times 34 hits is about 40k skill factor. And that's good. And the cooldown is just 15 seconds. Downside here is you can easily be interrupted while casting this, and a lot can interrupt it. Next skill is Quick Draw. This is a moderate damage attack in a straight pattern that also reduces the cooldown of Fanning by 1.2 seconds per use, and you can use it 5 times. Next skill is Aiming Shot. This is an unevadable attack that removes buffs, and the more buff is removed, the more damage it will do. Awesome skill for PvP. And that's Sheriff. If you're looking for a class that has decent PvE and PvP combat capabilities, this is a good choice. And now let's head on to Shinobi. Guys, I'm gonna be simplifying the Shinobi part. And if you want more about Shinobi, there's a link in the description. It's my previous Shinobi video. Go check it out. Anyway, Shinobi is a class taken for its insane burst damage capability. And the reason it's here is because of what I just said. Let's go check out the skills. First is Bunshido Jutsu. This is a skill that summons 2 clones that can imitate all Shinobi skills. And there's a Vibora weapon for this that gives you an additional clone that can also imitate Shinobi skills. The skills that can be imitated are Raito no Jutsu. This is Sasuke's lightning attack. Then there's kunai, a signature weapon of ninjas. Then katon no jutsu, a flame attack that can hit 3 times. And lastly, Niji no Jutsu. This is your nuclear bomb that gives you a buff depending on the number of Tenjutsu Baku stack you have. Again, check out my other Shinobi video, link is in the description. And that's the build, a very viable build for endgame content. And now let's do the good and the bad. Let's start with the bad. First off, is this build is not as great for mobbing, but it's serviceable. Next is there's no iframe and mobility skill in this build. And lastly, Sheriff and Corsair, right now, their overall performance is overshadowed by the more recent updates and rebalances to the other classes. But don't worry, if you like this build, according to IMC, we will get an update to these classes soon. Trademark. And now let's do the good stuff. Now this build is good for boss fighting because of Shinobi, and the crit rate of this build is off the charts. If you're using Ataka with level 1 Dragon Strength, this build could utilize those legendary set effects more efficiently. God, mosquito just flew in front of me. All in all, this is a decent build, but with the lack of an iframe, mobility, and self-sustain, slightly worries me, slightly. But fear not, this build excels in evasion and single target DPS, which is also a good sign of a very viable build. And that's the build. Did you like it? Or are you looking for something different? Tell us in the comment section down below and let's talk about it. And as always, like it if you like the video, share, and then subscribe to be part of the Gaming Hardcore family. And as always, this is Gaming Hardcore. See you in the next one.